That doesn't look to be the case at the moment. As we start the round 13 clash, it's a big one. West Coast taking on the Kangaroos at Subiaco. Gardner in the ruck against Burton. Stevens gets the first kick of the game. Towards half forward, Harvey playing in front of Michael Braun, takes the mark, 65 from home. Dishes off to Shannon Grant, who'll go inside 50 looking for Rocker. Not the ideal big man conditions this afternoon, but he's got a good start. Free kick for holding against Carroll, who's come into the side to replace Ashley McIntosh. Severio Rocker.
It didn't look to be much in that, did it? Just a little tag on the jumper perhaps, but gee, on these sort of days you don't want to give a side a start because, as Tomo predicted, it will be raining, I'd suggest, probably halfway through this quarter quite heavily.
20th in the all-time goal list for the AFL with 619, Severio Rocker. Beautiful kick. Dream start for the Roos.
I think it's important. A lot of their hard nuts, the Kangaroos, have started this match in the middle with Spider Burton. Shannon Grant was the boy that eventually got it to Rocker. But Stevens, Robbins and Grant all involved. Balls come in pretty quickly. I thought Shannon Grant might have gone a little bit wide. I mean, Rocker's dobbed that just from inside the boundary line. There wasn't much in there in terms of a free kick. But a lovely pure finish from Sav.
So in conditions not expected to suit full forwards this afternoon, Sav Rocker has made a fantastic start, and the Roos have the opening goal of the afternoon. Burton wins the tap. Grant over the football. Big pack develops. I'm sure we'll see plenty of those in the course of the afternoon. Umpire lets it go for some time. It's going nowhere. And already the white shorts have been muddied. Shannon Grant down the corridor, there's a fair bit of wear and tear which has been exposed because of this heavy rain. Kerr off to Braun. Banfield receives, swings it out to Cousins. Tracking him is Harvey. Pair go to ground, free kick, it'll go to the West Coast Eagles captain. Players haven't heard the whistle. But Ben Cousins, who was so instrumental in the West Coast Eagles beating the Kangaroos in round 22 last year, picked up 3 Brownlow votes. In the first quarters, certainly, the Eagles historically have been very good. Ferrito spikes it away, taken by Fletcher in the direction of Emily. Which way will the ball bounce? Doesn't matter, Emily goes off the ground.
And it was really the body positioning of Emily that eventually led to his goal. The ball's come in pretty quick from Fletcher initially, but he just had his opponent on the non-goal side. Jess Sinclair was in no man's land there. He wasn't actually making severe enough body contact on Embley for him to be effective there. Embley knew that, had the run of the footy, but good spot up by Fletcher to a dangerous position.
A bright opening given the conditions. A goal apiece after 3 minutes. Umpire throws it up. Gardner and Burton. Gardner got the tap. Embley came through with a bump on Grant. Picked up by Sinclair. Towards half forward. Harvey again. Beats Braun for the second time this afternoon. Goes short. Sinclair's pushed up from half back. He's run to 45. Didn't make clean contact, but it doesn't matter. It's a shootout at Subi in the wet. Jess Sinclair pushing forward. His man gets a goal at one end. He immediately makes amends at the other. And
Harvey's been important. A couple of marks he's taken on the half-forward line. You don't normally expect that, but that's just body strength on Braun. I mean, he's a powerful little unit, Brett Harvey. Just spots up Jess, who's in open space across a couple of steps goal. But good initial contest by Harvey. They've been good in the middle. You just notice Spider Burton actually not too far away from the centre square. Banfield running deep to pick up Sinclair now.
Sinclair's pushed forward.
They haven't got not a huge run up from both ruckmen because of the conditions.
3 goals in the opening 4 minutes. You would have got long odds about that. Fletcher goes off the ground. Jankovic sliding. Chicky's there as well. Robbins driven into the ground. No free kick. Off the ground goes Harvey. Follows up his own ball. He's got a couple of Eagles to beat, one of whom is Braun. Harvey plays it well. Looks for and finds the boundary.
John Worsfold quickly determining a mismatch between, Dean Lately between Sinclair and Embley, giving away too much height. Moved Daniel Motlop immediately onto Embley after that opening goal.
Ben Cousins just moving a little properly. Gardner slaps it forward. Ferrito is there. Across to Grant. Off a step. Tumbles a kick just forward of the wing. Sinclair, he's kicked a goal already. And the Kangaroos looking for the sanctuary of the boundary line yet again. No real breeze to speak of this afternoon. McLaren, Humphrey Smith and Nichols, the umpires today. The men in red. Burton with a height advantage. Fletcher being busy early. Kick was ineffective. Braun has to wait.
Tackle.
Stevens came from behind. Jakovic pokes it forward. Archer got a boot in there cleverly. Under pressure now the Kangaroos. Rawlings is over the football. There's a free kick over the shoulder. Had his head over the football, did Rawlings, and he'll take it inside the defensive 50.
And umpires have set a precedence there, Mark. They've got to continue to pay the play going for the footy.
Embley off the hands of Banfield. Couple of loose men at half forward. One of them's Chick. Goes to 50. Realises he can attack it himself. Goes long. Misses near side.
I reckon it'll be important today, Daniel Chick. Just his strength around the packs. He's a player that normally doesn't lose his feet. And in slippery conditions, you'll see a lot of players actually doing just that. But maybe he'll spend a bit more time in the middle of the ground because his aggression and just his absolute strength, I think, will be vital today.
This game started in fine fashion. Makepeace goes long. Burton the target. Archer from the side. Jones as well. Cousins over the top. Got one in the back, said the umpire. Dubious.
Well, it's consistent, I reckon.
Goes inside 50. Embley and Gardner in the pocket. Watt realises he had to go and did.
Gee, and that's probably not a percentage kick. He probably thought he could have spotted up his teammate there, Ben Cousins. But if you miss in these conditions, you're going to look a bit silly. It's run out of bounds. Should have been a shot at goal.
There's the set-up from the throw-in. Plenty of space at the back for West Coast. Burton slapped it forward. Embley got hands on it again, looking dangerous early. Sampi wraps up Archer and a bounce.
Gee, Burton's been good, hasn't he? I reckon he's the only ruckman at Subiaco Oval this year that's given Gardner some grief.
It's important. Gardner, ineffective tap. Anthony Stevens slapped it towards Makepeace. Got boot to ball. As far as Grant. Back to Anthony Stevens. Soccer's off the ground. Finds the line. The Kangaroos love a scrap. And they love to defy the odds as we head down to Michael Thompson.
Jason, the lights are on here at Subiaco Oval. Both teams have been training with red balls all week. They were told to change to using yellows today, so just a late change due to the weather.
The West Coast Eagles so dominant at Subiaco in recent times. Sampi, handball to Fletcher, can stand and deliver from 20. Hits the post. Missed opportunity there for Chad Fletcher. And a good setup from a stoppage inside their own 50. West Coast so dangerous in that area. I mentioned their record. They've won 14 and a half of their last 18 at Subiaco. But Ben kicked an average of 120 points in those wins. They love to just blow sides away with high-scoring football. That will prove a little bit more difficult this afternoon. Harvey received back from Makepeace. Went to King. A 2-on-1. Sinclair outsized. Banfield. Sinclair comes again. Well played. Jakovic under pressure from Baird. Flips it back. Hunter stands tall in the tackle. Caught one high. And will receive a free kick. About 85 metres out. There's the infringement against Jed Sinclair.
So Hunter at half forward, kicks to the pocket. Haynes hard on a lead. The numbers are with the Kangaroos. The hand pass comes back to Haynes. Rawlings pursues him. Chick, dangerous in this situation. Fends off Harvey, gives it to Sampi. He wants support, has to swing it very wide to Glass, who's run upfield. Off the left boot. Don't tell me Darren Glass is going to kick a goal. He hasn't. Off hands, minus score.
Chick was good there, wasn't he? It was he who won the initial contest. A bumbling ball across the half-forward line, dished it off to Sampi, and they just had the right amount of, being poised under severe pressure and just getting the ball forward.
David King to himself, and then a long ball looking for Burton. Gardner in the way. At the back, Banfield across to Fletcher, busy early, coming up for his fifth disposal, gets it across to Braun, a true centre half forward. The Eagles find Gardner, goes for the torpedo, doesn't make contact. Mind you, the ball does have a lot of carry on it, but Makepeace, a timely fist in there, concedes another behind. Eagles doing all the attacking in the last 2 minutes. And Michael Gardner has been watching David Weir Punda, but couldn't quite execute as he would have liked.
Not close enough.
Great defensive punch from Troy Makepeace. Diffused that situation. He brings it back into play and finds Harvey. Fifth touch for Brent Harvey. Prominent early. Goes long and finds Robbins. Beautifully weighted kick. To Motlop. Takes the mark. Away he goes from Embley. The centre half forward. Jones in best position. Hunter comes across. Did well. Brought it to ground. Banfield wrapped up. Ferocious tackle from Corey Jones. And about 65 metres out from the Kangaroo goal. They lead by 2 points. We've gone almost 11 minutes at Subiaco. Well executed tackle from Jones. Didn't give away a free kick. Burton slaps into open space. The ball dribbles inside 50. Kerr had it pinched by Robbins, who in turn had it pinched by Judd. Flipped it back to Fletcher. Advantage was paid. It's now going to come back. It's coming back to Chris Judd. No one standing on the mark. There's some confusion as to whose ball it actually is. Judd now being told it's his. Goes towards the outer side. The kick suits Burton. Clears that contest. Jakovic went to ground. That sets up Baird. He's got some time to look up. He can go to Robbins. Across his body. Kick. Finds Ben Robbins. Forward to the centre. Looks up. Will go inside 50. Hard to spot targets on the lead this afternoon. Motlop on the bounce. Keeps it alive. Flips it back to Rocker. Went with a torp off one step. Petrie. Chance. Motlop. Tight angle. Went over the top to Clayton. Onto his left boot. Jeremy Clayton touched off the boot. Hunter in the defensive goal square. Goes towards Kerr. Still a chance for the Kangaroos through Stevens. He takes it to the line and West Coast dodge a bullet. We head down to Michael Thompson.
We're all concerned for the West Coast Eagles on the fitness of Ben Cousins. He's been limping. Brett Heady just ran out to him, and Bill Griffiths, one of their trainers, was out talking to him, explaining what had happened. Looks like he's got a sore ankle or calf. He is in trouble.
Well, the Kangaroos without their leading possession getter and Adam Simpson. West Coast would hate to be without their skipper, Motlop. Anthony Stevens couldn't get an effective boot to ball. Fletcher taken down by Robbins. Umpire said it was in the back. And West Coast will come out of their own defensive 50.
Chad Fletcher's been in everything this afternoon. That kick, a little lackadaisical. Kerr has to stretch. Fortunately, it runs over the line because Harvey had the chance to keep it in and send the Kangaroos forward. The Eagles bench. Some young faces there. McDougall celebrating his 20th birthday today. On the throw in, there's a free kick. A holding decision. And Cousins, who turns 25 this week, in fact, a batch of birthdays at the West Coast Eagles this week. Gardner as well, 24 next week as well. Hunter finds Jakovic on the slide. Relatively open forward line. Glenn Jakovic. Off the side of the boot. Chick is there. Awkward bounce. Watt over the football. Across the face of goals. It might work out okay. Bouncing ball eludes Braun. 2-point margin. And after 3 goals in the opening 4 minutes, it's been a real scrap at Subiaco. Ball tossed back into play. Brown does it cleverly to Rawlings. Makes good contact with the torpedo, only as far as Casey Green, inside the centre square. Congested forward line. The pack sets. No mark taken. Jones was the flyer from the side. Petrie opposed to Glass. Knocking it forward. Petrie makes some valuable meterage. Still he goes. And a good result there through Petrie, the big fellow, working it towards centre wing. Darren Glass with the job on him this afternoon. And the Kangaroos with goals to Sinclair and Sav Rocker. Andrew Embley, the only goal kicker so far for the Eagles. Gardner wins it decisively into the path of Judd. Accelerates. The kick is errant, and Makepeace in the back pocket takes the mark.
He's already done some handy defensive work, Troy Makepeace, this afternoon. Goes short to Archer. Lee Brown offers a target to the broadcast side. Archer has a bounce. No one coming at him at all. Can have a couple. Touches it on the ground. Runs outside defensive 50. and then kicks to a 2-on-1 and turns it over. Jones. Green. Here comes the counter punch from the Eagles. Cousins tried to get around Stevens, was taken down by Motlop, got it to Jones. High ball to the pocket. Haynes there, he's outnumbered, and again Troy Makepeace gets back and saves the day.
Yeah, standing Sampy, Makepeace. I'd actually be inclined to try and take him away from the action. I know he's a defender, but given his importance in the early start of this game, just get him out of the way. So maybe Sampy be a bit of a foil for the West Coast Eagles forwards.
When Glenn Archer held the football for so long there, I think players up the ground got a little confused. The options dried up. It's back to the wing. Carroll in front of Grant, taken down, managed to dish off a handball to Hunter. Hunter squares it up. Sinclair and Embley. Sinclair worked his way to the front. Takes the mark and slides 10 metres past.
They've got an open forward line. Kangas will get in there quick.
Handball to Robbins. To Jones. They've pushed forward to the ball in numbers, the Kangaroos. Jones on his left. Goes towards Rocker. Tough to mark in these conditions. That's an excellent grab.
And what a great setup team-wise from the Kangaroos. I mean, the ball's been in West Coast Eagles forward half. They've had numbers down there, but it just shows that they are a well-drilled side. They all knew what to do when the ball coming forward. But importantly, Rocker maintained his position at full forward, so if the ball does go down there quickly, there's a target to kick to.
Well, Dean Laidley described this one as a 12-point game. Not exactly sure what he means by that, but we get the general gist of it. And they certainly seem to have steeled themselves for it. They've had a fortnight to prepare, as have the West Coast Eagles, of course. But the Kangaroos see this as a monstrous challenge, and one they're rising to at the moment. Severio Rocker from right on 50 and bangs it through post high, but misses to the right-hand side. A thumping kick from Sav Rocker. He's got 1-1 for the afternoon, and the margin now 3 points. We've played almost 17 minutes at Subi. And here's a test for David Wirapunda. To torp or not to torp? That is the question.
He's taken the percentage option. Looking out wide there for Hunter. Comes off hands. Eagles fans want a free kick, but Motlop did a very good job.
No, I think they wanted the mark.
They got neither. Breeze favouring the end to which...
Did he control it? Maybe.
Yep, they might be a bit more lenient in these conditions this afternoon. Judd just shows you how difficult it is to hold the footy, because he is normally so quick to pounce and get on his bike, but on that occasion...
There's a forward line, Mark, Sampy and Haynes, so not a different structure for the forward line for the West Coast, as hasn't been changed from recent weeks.
Hunter, pursued by Robbins, puts his head over the football. Jones, kick was smothered. Need to be good to get a possession in there. But a dry cleaning bill developing very quickly.
Sometimes when it is slippery, you may try and isolate a smaller player on the full forward line, like Sampy, and get Haynes out of the area perhaps.
Gardner won the tap. Here's Harvey though. He goes for the torpedo to the goal square. Green, did he get a fist in there? He was angling it towards the boundary line or the behind, and he concedes in the end. So the Kangaroos stretch that margin now to 4 points. This first quarter, not a lot of rain, but it's been threatening throughout. Wirapunda, that's a terrific kick down the corridor to Kerr. Cousins, a couple of the prime movers getting involved. Embley across to Casey Green, who floats it towards the attacking 50. Chick was the target. Too much carry. It rolls over for a boundary throw-in. Revel in these conditions will Daniel Chick, and an open forward line for the West Coast Eagles.
Throw in, Jakovic just punched it to the front of the contest. Embley went off the ground. Judd evades one tackle, won't get through for Rito. Ball still alive. Kerr taken down by Baird. Umpire now comes in and calls for a bounce.
And the Kangaroos players very unhappy with that, Ben.
Well, maybe he threw it Judd in the end, but gee, he's so evasive. Unbelievable power for such a young player. You've just got to, if you get your hands on him, you've got to bring him to ground, Chris Judd.
Gardner and Brown. Brown took it out of the ruck. Boot to ball in a hurry. Cousins and Rawlings take it to the line. The umpires this week just saying they're going to ease the interpretation of the ruck rule. If you take it out of the ruck, it's not automatically prior opportunity. You will get an opportunity to get rid of it, as you would anywhere else around the ground. So we might see the ruckman in the weeks to come just starting to take the ball from the ruck a bit more often. Gardner to Judd was beautiful, and the finish is a goal. Classic ruck work, classic roving. Great finish. Chris Judd gets his first. We just spoke of the danger of this man getting his hands on the football in open space. He kicks the goal. Bright start at Subiaco. Hope you're enjoying it right around Australia, live on Fox Footy.
Just unbelievable. You've just got to play goal side of him on every occasion. Brady Rawlings just caught out of position there a little bit, and no one will stop him if he is given 20 centimetres. That's all he needs. Unbelievable.
Chris Judd gets his first of the afternoon. The West Coast Eagles in front. And what is still shaping as a pretty low-scoring, tight affair. Kerr across to Cousins. West Coast breakaway again. Hunter's been busy. Bouncing ball. Jones over it. Archer, desperate as ever. Baird plays it cleverly and slides across the line.
Lee Brown into the ruck now, Mark. So it'll be an important period for the Kangaroos. They need to maintain. Well, actually, Brown's dropping back and Petrie's coming up to have a crack against Gardner. But Gardner normally gets on top on these occasions when the second ruckman has a crack.
And that brief passage of sun we saw at the start of the game gone. Rain starting to get quite heavy.
Grant gave it across to Stevens. He was running out of room, tried to keep it low, but was given up the free kick. And Drew Banfield on a very muddy section of Subiaco. Interchange area. Called to play on.
Flower bag.
Finger breaker. Well, bounced straight off Jakovic's chest. Fletcher at full bore, so too as Rawlings. Committed footy by all concerned there. Motlop, Stevens, and Lee Brown, the former Docker, settles things for the Kangaroos. Wants to switch play. Makepeace in the darkness. The lights are on at Subiaco. The loose man is Rawlings. He's run hard, creates space. The Kangaroos on the move. At half forward. A little indecisive in the end. Into the pocket. Clayton presents himself and takes the mark. Too far out to score, I'd suspect.
I reckon he's got a negative role in the forward line playing on David Wirrapunda. We know the creative flair of Wirrapunda deep from defence. So a big ask for this young fellow. If he gets an opportunity to lead and get on the end of it, why not, even if Wirrapunda is your opponent?
Hasn't kicked an AFL goal as yet. That won't change after that kick. It was smothered. And then looking for the boundary was Carroll. These conditions very difficult for the players in the latter part of the quarters to get distance with their kicks as Andrew McDougall prepares to make his first appearance for the afternoon. Gardner leaps high, makes about 15 metres. King slaps it back cleverly. Did he throw it? Yes, he did. The intention was right, and David King argues the point, but Drew Banfield will take it for the West Coast Eagles.
Tough conditions for the trainers as well. I just saw one go flat on her back as she went over to give Lee Brown a drink of water. Banfield finds Hunter backward of the wing.
They've pushed everyone up the ground, the West Coast. They've only got, I think it's Atkins, one out with his opponent, no one within 70 metres of him.
Important to be first to the football. Win yourself some free kicks this afternoon. Great mark from Chick. Super grab in the conditions. It's wide open forward line for West Coast. He decides to thump it long with a spiral. Tough to mark this one through the hands of Brown. Spills to the back. Embley, great little dish to Atkins, and he snaps a goal. Good percentage football from the Eagles. Chick thumped it long, cleared the back of the pack where most of the balls will go this afternoon, Ben, and the Eagles had numbers streaming past.
And Gardner coming off. Lee Brown actually dropped back into defence when that ball came in pretty long and strong. He should have gone the punch there. He went in the grab. The ball went behind him. And again, no Kangaroo on the goal side of that West Coast Eagle in Atkins. See, Brown should have gone the punch there. The ball would have been 5 metres in front of that position where Atkins received it.
The Eagles have got a handy 8-point break. They're 3-4-22, the Roos 2-2-14.
McDougall into the ruck, so Gardner having a spell.
Brown up against McDougall, centre square infringement. It's going the way of West Coast. Danger period now for the Kangaroos as the home team just start to get on top. McDougall, indecisive, thought about a handball to Fletcher. Decides to thump it long himself. Good penetrating kick inside 50. Jakovic got one hand to it, but never a chance to mark. Rawlings over the top. Sampi crashes in on him and gives away a free kick. Ferrito emerges with it towards the wing. Jones lost his footing. It spills to the back. Opportunity for Sinclair. Runs to 55. evades the tacklers and goes inside and finds Clayton.
He's providing a target, just giving Wirrapunda something to worry about, so it's good play from this young fellow, but good poise from Sinclair. Little pop over the top to Sav.
Was good. And Rocker in front, that big frame, decided to take it on his chest, wrapped his shoulders around it and gave Carroll no chance to spoil.
Yeah, so for that 60 metres out from goal, Sinclair initially showed some poise. He didn't bomb to the square, just waited for young Clayton to present himself and dished off a nice little pass initially.
Useful start from Jeremy Clayton, playing his second game of AFL football. Started the year on the rookie list after spending 2 years with North Ballarat in the VFL. Made his debut against the Saints in round 1 and earned a recall today.
Sav's looked pretty good early as well, hasn't he? Having his third shot at goal.
1 goal, 1 from Sav Rocker. Thumped his last shot at goal through from post high from outside 50. So distance won't be a problem. And he hammers this one through as well. Rocker's got 2 and the Roos are back in front. Great return from Sav Rocker in the opening quarter to get 2 goals, 1 out of your big marking leading full forward. On a day like today, Ben, is a fantastic return. Yeah, he's looked pretty nimble on his feet, hasn't he? And good coaching. This is the initial kick from Sinclair. Could have gone long, but just saw his little teammate in Clayton pop up. That's good team play initially from Sinclair. Spider's gone back into the ruck, so good coaching as well from Laley, giving him a little break before bringing him back on.
Just 7 goals from 8 games coming into this match for Sav Rocker. But he's kicked 2 invaluable ones in this first quarter.
Well done.
In trying conditions, the Kangaroos go forward off the boot of Shannon Grant. Loose ball. Sav couldn't bend down. Wirrapunda outside of the boot. Favours Grant. Kangaroos a chance through Stevens. Just outside the 50. Assesses the options. Drives it to Sav. Juggles and takes the mark. Well, Troy Wilson was a late withdrawal because of the conditions. But big Sav, the Kangaroos showing faith in the veteran forward, and he hasn't let them down in the opening quarter.
And all this pressure has been the result of Spider Everett's absolute fantastic tap in the middle. Got it down to Shannon Grant initially to get it forward, and from that point on, the West Coast Eagles defence was on the back foot.
Sav Rocker with the breeze at his back. The distance, irrespective, wouldn't have been a problem. And this to put the Kangaroos in front. Just on quarter time.
I got my Spiders mixed up. I think I said Everett instead of Burton.
Yes, both have a fair bite to them when they're in the ruck, though, and doing well. Jeremy Hum ready to come on for his first run for the day, but all eyes on Sav Rocker. The kick. It's tight. It's a goal. Sav's kicked a couple in 2 minutes, and the Kangaroos are in front.
Well, you'd have to look at making a change. He's been fantastic, Everett. Carroll opposed him. You'd think he'd go with him on the lead. But just the ball coming forward. Nice little spot up. Hunter trying to come in and oppose him, but maybe it's just Rocker's initial strength when they're standing side by side in the goal square, and that initial push-off is giving him that couple of metres on Carroll, but he needs a bit of help down there.
Severio Rocker enjoying the absence of Ashley McIntosh to post 3 first quarter goals. John Worsfold also making a change. Jeremy Clayton looking dangerous. He's now being picked up by Jeremy Hum up forward for the Roos. Harris got first hands on the ball, went back and got it. Handball smothered by McDougall. Spider Burton's got a long way to get down to pick that ball up.
Hands.
Petrie to Grant. There's the man again, Clayton. Been good early, dropped that one. Banfield gathers, wheels onto his favoured left. Goes to Kerr in the middle of the ground. Carries him. Jakovic taken down by Baird in a fair tackle. Rawlings to half forward. Harvey in front again. And for the 3rd time this afternoon, plays in front of Braun. Steps around him. Goes to 52, Harvey. Ugly torpedo punt. And misses everything to the left-hand side.
It's a good one-on-one mark, that boy Harvey, isn't he?
They play the percentage as well, the Kangaroos.
Well, the half-forward line's in front. Rocker's doing his bit, and they're being very, very good out of the middle. Spider Burton's been fantastic.
It's a simple game plan. They're playing good, smart, wet weather football.
Set something up here too.
With the added bonus of finding marking forwards. Not conventional in the wet. Judd, handball partly smothered by Harris. It's alive for the Roos. Sinclair, Wirrapunda to hassle him. Glass over the top, it's fierce in close. Slapped out by Stevens. Diving in on top of that is Glass again. Stevens goes for another effort and we'll have another bounce.
Might be a new coach in Dean Laidley, but you suspect that the years under Dennis Pagan and playing in these conditions have come in very handy this afternoon so far.
Dean Laidley watching on, be happy with what he's seen so far. Rocker to Burton. And he misses.
But that's a fantastic set play. Everyone would have been thinking Mr. Burton would have been taking the ruck knock. He would have given the wink to Rocker. And why not have a Spider being a rover on an occasion or two?
Just didn't quite execute in the end. Wapunda goes short, finds Braun. Had his headaches with Brent Harvey early on. Harvey's had 7 possessions, as has Shannon Grant. Or Banfield, Cousins, Fletcher and Hunter have all had 6 for the Eagles. Braun, Petrie looms tall, spills to Archer. Sinclair tries to get around Jones. We mentioned Rowan Jones in his tackling in the preview. And we see it there, forces the error. And that will be it for the opening term. A bright one given the conditions. Entertaining football from both sides. The umpire just calling on McDougall to come back and take the free kick as he was closest. But it matters little with 3 seconds remaining on the clock. Rain continues to tumble at Subiaco. McDougall thumps it long. Ferrito at the front. Siren sounds for quarter time. And the Kangaroos take the honours in the opening term. They're 4-3-27. West Coast 3-4-22. 3 goals to Saverio Rocker. It's the Roos by 5 points. Quarter time, Subi. Well, this one looming as an entertaining scrap, Ben. As I mentioned, West Coast certainly know they're in for a dogfight.
Unbelievable. I think when Anthony Stevens woke up this morning, he had a grin from ear to ear. To see Shannon Watt there, maybe a little bit of a sore AC joint, but they've been pushing back in numbers very well, the Kangaroos, when the ball's in the West Coast Eagles forward half.
It's a little bit of confusion at the opening bounce. Ben Cousins was calling Daniel Chick into the centre square, but Chick was up in the forward line. So in the end, Kerr stepped in to make up the numbers. Second term at Subiaco, the Roos by 5 points. Gardner toe pokes it forward. Embley goes off the ground as well. There is Chick. One-on-one with Ferrito in the pocket. Ferrito the toe poke. Finds the line. Pretty good skills on display from both sides given the conditions. They're both playing smart football. The rain's just eased at the moment. But dark clouds continue to loom around Subiaco. You can expect some more rain shortly, I would imagine. Stevens ducked the head. Gets a free kick.
They've been consistent with that. If you put your head over the footy, you'll get a free.
Goes out towards the wing. Jones and Hunter. Spills to Robbins. Got 2 to beat. Fletcher just picked it off him. Gave it to Cousins. Across the body inside 50. Archer with strength. Goes back, not paid, play on. Judd emerges from the congestion. Onto his left, Chris Judd, the executioner. Two goals to Chris Judd. And he is deadly.
Again, just given too much space. Archer would be filthy with himself. Did he do enough? Did he actually control that ball when it came and he hit the deck and the ball spilled out? Just saw the end of that, but just Judd. No one anywhere near him. Unbelievable, and that's a fantastic finish on his non-preferred. He's dynamite when he's within 40 metres.
Two goals to Chris Judd, coming off that wonderful first half against Brisbane a fortnight ago. Another centre square clearance by the Eagles. Cousins, free kick. It'll go back to the West Coast Eagles skipper. Hunter drove it forward. I'm not sure if the advantage could have been played in that circumstance. As it is, the Kangaroos have a chance to reset their defence. And there's a free kick off the ball. It'll go to the Eagles. About 45 metres out, Glenn Archer is arguing the case. Over the shoulder. Daniel Chick. Or Chad Fletcher. It's Chad Fletcher who has it. An important decision given the rain starts to tumble down now. And scores from here on in you'd think would be very difficult. But Chad Fletcher, 8 disposals in the match so far. Looking for the second of the quarter for the Eagles. Makes good contact, gets the goal.
He's turned himself into a quality AFL player, Fletcher. A soft free kick in the end, but that's a fantastic finish in these conditions. Let's just see the incident highlighted there. Didn't look to be much in it, whatever it was. But the rain has started to pelt. These centre clearances are becoming more important. The Eagles have been good early in this second quarter. Spider needs to get his hand on the footy.
It is thumping down. Look at that. That is Hollywood rain at its best. That is absolutely bucketing down. And it's coming in on an angle. West Coast kicking with the tide in the second term.
Well done.
Braun off the ground. Important meterage to check. And he marks 40 metres out directly in front.
And playing in front, that's what you have to do. It's imperative as a forward to be in front. If there's a little free kick given, great little kick off the ground by Braun. Just get it forward. And if you're in front as a forward, things like this can happen.
Just toss it up into the hurricane. It'll take it over the line for Daniel Chick. From 40 metres out, measured approach. Bangs it home. Look at the distance on that. 3 quick goals to the Eagles in the opening 4 minutes of the second term. And 13 points isn't exactly breaking the game open, but in these conditions, it's certainly a handy buffer.
Yeah, the wind has picked up a little bit. The Eagles are going with it. But all these AFL players would be aware, just get the thing forward. The problem with the Kangaroos at the minute is that at centre-half back, there is an absolute clearance. So if the Eagles get the ball out of the centre, basically they can walk it into their forward 50.
Clever approach from Daniel Chick, very experienced. Really trod lightly, didn't he? Didn't try to get too much momentum up, realising the ground was slippery underfoot.
In small steps.
And the Eagles did train in these types of conditions on Wednesday. Fletcher runs back with a flight of the footy. Held a long time. Harris, sweeping hand pass. Burton slaps it on. Going to ground was Jones. They're working it forward. Rugby style. Clayton over the football. We'll have a ball up.
Looks like rain.
And the conditions not expected to brighten all that much. Showers forecast for the rest of the day. I'm not sure we'll get to that expected top of 17 degrees. Fletcher revelling. Braun toe pokes it forward. Robbins gathers. Mark that. Inside the 50. Shannon Grant wanted a free kick off the football. Nothing doing. Clayton's been pretty good for the Kangaroos. Interesting disposal. Taken by Kerr onto the boot. Spoil came from Baird. Gathered by Cousins. Got the hand pass as he was slung. Baird almost on his back. Tried to get a disposal away. Cousins again to Judd. They can't lay a finger on him. Very elusive. The kick, maybe not intended for Embley. Found him though. That's almost holding the football. Gardner. Some latitude by the umpires this afternoon. Fletcher will rise the bump. Gets a hand pass away. The Eagles in turn push it forward. Gardner cleverly looking for Kerr. He goes to ground. In support is Embley. Rushes it onto the boot. Sampi with him is Makepeace. Sliding in was Archer. Chick paddles towards the line, finds it. Not pretty, but very desperate football as Daniel Motlop receives some attention from the trainers after that.
Just poor technique there. He should have kept both feet on the ground.
Got the shoulder right in the sternum. Just knocked the wind out of him. Sinclair hacks it out of defensive 50. Foot race. Harvey getting there first was Jones. Wrapped up. Braun had it socket away by Rawlings. Play on. Rawlings went again off the ground. Effective in these conditions. Harris. Banfield on his hammer. Harris gains an extra 5 metres. And we'll have a throw in.
And Motlop coming off. King on. A bit of pain there. We'll go down to Tomo in a minute.
So 13 points the margin. Jakovic returns to the fray. Picking up Drew Petrie. Lee Brown prepares to come on for the Kangaroos. Burton and Gardner. Gardner a tap down to Sinclair. Nowhere to go. Spun around. Put it on his boot. Towards Petrie. Great little dish to Sinclair, but Kerr was waiting on it. Braun, wrapped up by Harvey. Was it over the shoulder? Play on the call. Ball spills free. Grant toe pokes to his own advantage. And then it's try time as he finds the line. Well, it's not pretty football, but it is exciting. It's a great contest. Both sides throwing themselves in. And it's pretty hard, I've got to tell you, to see the outer side of the ground at the moment. Such is the rain, it is coming down in buckets. Sinclair. Socket off the ground by Brown. Goes to the middle of the ground, I believe. Here's Jones. Tried to flip it back through the legs. Umpire said he threw it. It's picked up by Hunter. To half forward. Baird goes the punch. It's on behind the play. A bit of a scuffle on the wing. Picked up by Baird. Couldn't get boot to ball. Sampi to Fletcher. Inside 50. Tracking back is Ferrito. Only man there. Looks up. Falls over. Someone get the Benny Hill music. Here's Shannon Watt. Looks for Petrie and finds him at half back.
Good take. Great pick up by Sampi initially, wasn't it? Just dished it off. I tell you, the skilled players in these conditions actually come to the fore.
Petrie looks for Lee Brown on his own in the middle. Half volley made it very awkward in these conditions. Judd lost it. King. The Roos are away on the outer side now to Baird. Looks up. Goes short.
Good kick.
Sinclair. Just forward to the centre. He's got King over the top. Hasn't spotted him and now he's dropped it. Under pressure. Had to bang it on the boot. Makepeace. Wrapped up by Banfield. Went to the voice, but the voice was Chick. And now West Coast a chance. Atkins. Fumbles, but has stacks of time. Looks up. Goes to Jones. Finds him 70 from goal.
Embley's one out.
Back to Atkins. Goes high. Sampi lurking. Rawlings has got to go. It spills to the back. Embley still a chance. Just has to get boot to ball. And the Roos somehow through Ferrito. Rush it through. And what a contest we have.
Let's go boundary side to Michael Thompson.
Yes, Mark, I just rode a boat across to the Kangaroos dugout, and Daniel Motlop just saw ribs. The doctors examined him, but he should be fine.
Tomo's happy he's got those new shoes on too.
Yep. Thought that the light-coloured pants were ambitious.
No one volunteering to swap with Tomo at this stage of proceedings as Makepeace makes some ground. Kick ill-directed. Taken by Kerr on his chest. 14-point margin. Doesn't sound a lot, but in the context of this game, a sizable lead.
No one's picked up Gardner inside forward 50. Harvey the only man near him.
Doesn't matter, there's a free kick which has been plucked out of this. It'll go to Glenn Archer. Not too many people realise what it was for. I'm one of them. Interesting low spiral torpedo. Gathered brilliantly on the half volley by King. About to be rounded up. Support comes from Harvey. Chance for the Kangaroos now. Ships it. It's okay. Anthony Stevens, the skipper. Off to Harvey. Set him a task. Chopped up by Ruapunda. He goes for the torpedo off the side of the boot. If it stays in, Fletcher's away. Couldn't quite control it off hands.
Still got to keep playing the percentages, the Kangaroos. A couple of times going for torps. I'm not sure they're always the option. Just keep the ball central. Forwards in front, get it in there reasonably quickly. I know they're the basics of football, but in that way they can peg their way back into the game.
The Eagles have scored 3 goals in this term. Kangaroos haven't added to their quarter-time tally. Petrie did well to Rawlings. Off to Stevens. Hit a brick wall in the shape of Daniel Kerr's back. Judd can't break through. Cousins loops it to Fletcher. Good work in close by the Eagles. Corey Jones missed the mark. Now he's got a problem. Sliding in was teammate there in Harris. Petrie out to Rawlings. Desperate footy by the Kangaroos. They can't give one up here. Sinclair's been important for the Kangaroos so far. Gardner tries to go off the ground. Sinclair rolls over and the ball will be tossed back into play.
Skill errors really magnified in these conditions, aren't they, Ben? If you just drop a mark, it costs you so much, or you put a ball just to the left or right of your teammate.
That's why second and third efforts are so important.
No surprises in the disposal getters. Most of them midfielders. Fletcher, one of those, topping the list. Chick hurriedly in the direction of Jones. Stevens taken very high on this occasion by the Eagles. Jones. Free kick was there. Makepeace accelerates. puts the ball to ground. Watch out, Sampi, hot in pursuit, affects the kick, loose ball on the wing. Brilliantly done by Grant. Worked his opponent in Banfield off the football. The 2 sixes go to ground. Well done by the 96 best and fairest winner for the Eagles. Forced the turnover. Comes to Wembley. It's sloppy footy. It's desperate footy. And the Eagles have got a chance through Kerr at the 50. In a little bit of space into the pocket. Eludes all. Adkins, can he keep it in? Teases him to the line. He goes to ground. Gets to his feet. It's a war of attrition. The ball kept in play somehow, and Lee Brown throws it on the boot, looking for Michael Stevens. Fresh onto the ground. The spoil came. Hum to Wembley, off to Banfield. Couldn't take it cleanly. Some tired bodies at the end of the first half. Make no mistake about that. Petrie makes about 15 metres. Looks for and finds King. He accelerates. Wants to get around Green. Does so now. Drives a beautiful pass. And Sav's got it. 65 out. Even too far for him to score.
Harvey one out with Braun.
That's the way the kick goes. Harvey brilliantly done. He's taken the mark. Ben Allen called it correctly. And Brent Harvey, thanks to the quick thinking of Sav Rocker, spots the man.
Yeah, great pass, but you'd almost be isolating this boy just deep inside 50 with Braun. I think that's the 4th one-on-one mark that Harvey's taken on Braun.
And the umpire just telling Brent Harvey he was calling for the trainer to come over and bring the towel. Umpire Derek Humphrey-Smith said, no chance.
Good play from David King just in front of us on the wing, wasn't it? Just maintained his composure, did a couple of little short steps to get around his West Coast Eagles, a teammate, before a nice little spot up to Rocker.
16 goals this season for Brett Harvey. It's been tough going for the Kangaroos, kicking into the breeze in the second term. They desperately need this, and he provides it.
So Brent Harvey, one-on-one, causing all sorts of headaches for Michael Braun. Kicks his first goal, been involved in a couple of others. Great contest at Subiaco. Great wet weather football, both sides committing themselves. It's an entertaining clash. We trust you're enjoying it right around Australia on Fox Footy, live and exclusive.
Nicely weighted kick from Sav, wasn't it? We know he's a prodigious kick, but Braun really had no hope after that initial contact from Harvey on Braun.
Kangaroos back within 8 points, courtesy of Brent Harvey's first goal. He has 9 possessions, along with Petrie, Sinclair and Stevens for the Roos. Gardner and Brown. Brown won it at ground level. Chick. Jard off the ground.
Well done.
Chick off the ground this time. Gets it inside 50. Haynes attacks it. Tough one to pick up at the ankles. Ferrito over the top of it. Adkins in on top of him, as was Jones. And a bounce 35 metres out from West Coast goal.
Just reckon Daniel Chick will improve the longer this game goes. The harder it gets, I reckon, the more his strength will come to the fore.
At ground level, Adkins couldn't get an effective disposal, so he goes again. Comes out to Fletcher. Quick hands to Judd. Not even he could thread the eye of that needle. Back to Fletcher, and numbers fall to the football for West Coast. Embley takes the mark, no more than 15 metres out.
And that's a good play, actually. It might have been about a 7 and 8 on contest when there was a ball up, and why not drift forward? You just don't know as a forward. You might get a cheap one over the top. As long as all your teammates are aware that Embley was the one going forward, it's fair enough. But disconcerting there for the Kangaroos, because Chick was drifting forward on his own as well.
Lee Brown claiming he touched that in the flight, but pretty tough for the umpire to call that one.
Embley kicked one in the opening term. Just to re-establish a handy break. From 15 metres out, pokes it through. Stevens wants to go on with it, but it's a goal. Couple of players want to go on with it. Ferrito comes in to fly the flag. Anthony Stevens back for more after being sat down, and this one could escalate. It's looking a little nasty at the moment. They're in, and it is on. It is on. There's a couple of players have gone down. Judd's in there as well. And it's a skirmish.
Well, could be
the ball is about to be thrown up.
It's about to be thrown up in the centre square.
Kangaroos have just realised David King is screaming in the centre, saying, come on, get down there.
Well, he's going to be the ruckman, David King.
That's the best bit of umpiring I've seen in years.
And that has broken up the fight instantly.
Amazing stuff at Subiaco in the rain. Players going at it, and the men in red kicking very quickly. Brown in the ruck opposed to Gardner. Pack develops. Heat is on, although the conditions wouldn't suggest that. Stevens off a step. Bounce is crucial. Clayton couldn't take it. Sliding over the football was Glass. Hum gets a boot to Bull. Sinclair put his body on the line. That ball's going nowhere.
He's done that well, Jess, today. Whoa.
Well, it looked a lot worse from a distance. The ball thrown up. A handy lead to the Eagles of 14 points. Harvey goes shoulder to shoulder with Cousins. Stevens in support. Harris bounces it to the 50. Jones was there. Wells hasn't been seen of. We're Punda with poise. Hunter off to Braun. The Eagles work it well to the wing.
Well done.
Makepeace, best position, takes the mark just backward of the wing. He's got a loose man in Brown inside the centre square. The ball finally reaches him. He goes for the torpedo, perhaps under instruction. It'll work out okay. Two Kangaroos were there. Harvey and Rocker. They mucked it up. We're Punda off to Gardner, and the Eagles now can charge forward off that mistake.
Another goal to be handy for the Eagles here. They lead by 14 points. Spills to the back. Here's Jones. Time to assess his options. Will go inside 50. 2-on-1. Baird to get back. Archer at the front. Taken high. Play on the call. Stood tall. Dish to Michael Stevens. He gets his first possession for the Kangaroos and dribbles it to the line.
Gee, well done by Archer. Had to go back with the flight of the footy there.
Here's another angle of the skirmish. Judd, Stevens, Rawlings, Baird in there as well.
Just pushing and shoving, though, wasn't it?
Good umpiring. Bring the ball back to the centre. Never seen a fight break up quicker than that. Gardner. Rawlings. Maybe the Ramsgate last year. Petrie. Fletcher at the back with the torn jumper. Towards half forward. And Michael Stevens slaps it towards the line for a throw in. Chick and Rawlings want to go on with it. Plenty of feeling in this one. It's been a great contest. Got to say, thoroughly enjoying it 20 minutes into the second term.
It's old-fashioned footy, isn't it?
Both sides fully committed to this one. Sinclair had a mid-air hat, missed it. They all slid past him. He could get to his feet and get boot to ball. The bounce beat Petrie and Glass. King at the back uses his body. Soccers off the ground. Gains an extra 35 metres for his side. Throw in just forward of the wing.
Kangaroos still persisting with Sav deep in the forward line, but Shannon Grant's drifted down there, and David Wirapunda picking him up at the minute.
It's a rare phenomenon at Subiaco. Mud. Don't see it here often. Some pundits saying it's probably the worst conditions they've seen at Subi for 10 years.
Since 78, the Waffle Grand Final, Perth and East Perth, Jace. You'd remember
that myself, yeah. Sitting back as a 5-year-old, thoroughly enjoyed that one. Ball up on the wing. Michael Braun feels hard done by. As Stevens comes to the bench, replaced by Ben Robbins, who's straight into the fray and gets hands on the football. Kick towards half forward. Glass goes back with the flight. We're a Punda. Casey Green lays a big shepherd on Grant. Made some space. Braun smothered by Harris, who went in again and won it. Clayton, quick hands to King. Inside 50. Rocker one-on-one with Jones at ground level. Spills to the front. Harvey goes with the toe poke. It's still alive. Hunter had more time than he realised. Where Punda sweated on by Shannon Grant and finds the line. It's been played at a hectic tempo in these conditions. Both sides just throwing themselves in full throttle. There's been some great contests. For those who are lamenting the absence of one-on-one contests in modern-day football, well, sit back and enjoy this one. It's had plenty. Harris and Rocker. Rocker went off the ground. There's too much elevation and gives it away. Just under 6 minutes remaining until the major break. It'll be a break that both sides will be really looking forward to, because it's been very, very taxing the way this game's been played. Stevens forced a contest, brought it to ground, and another throw in. Matthew Burton barks encouragement instructions from the sidelines. Still stands 5'3", even on one bended knee. Casey Green. Oh, King went off the ground. Surely that's kicking in danger. It is. It'll be Casey Green with a resultant free kick.
Petrie been doing the ruck. in that forward half for the Kangaroos, and whilst that was going on, Lee Brown's been loose in defence. Brown now going across to Gardner.
Daniel Harris playing Ben Cousins pretty closely. Cousins not appreciating it at the moment. You see them up in the centre of your screen there.
Just got to make distance down the line, make a contest.
That's what he does, goes along. Gardner at the front, Brown nudges him under it. It beats Sinclair at the back. Chance for the Roos through Jones. Boots towards half forward. Humm attacked it. Clayton put his body in. Petrie sits over the top, gives away the free kick. Jeremy Humm at defensive 55.
A late inclusion into this side to replace Troy Wilson, given the conditions. Kicks inside the centre square. Kangaroos with the numbers. Archer onto the boot. Courage required. Banfield had it in kilograms. I'm not sure he deserved the free kick, but
put his body on the line. I think it was there.
He'll take it nonetheless.
I don't think he's the best exponent of the talk, though.
Leave it to David Weir-Punda. They've all had a dash in it. Here comes Chris Judd, off hands, all class. Tries to bring it back. Not a bad effort on the run from outside 50. Charging goalwards missed.
It's amazing, isn't it, how he loses his opponent in traffic. Brady Rawlings has been standing him the last 5 minutes. They get attracted to the ball. But Judd, just with his explosion and ability to read the play, just gets into open space again.
Kangaroos have to hang on here. Stevens, it's Michael. Kick was smothered until the fresh man on the ground, given his clean attire, was McDougall. Weir-Punda paddling. Gets support from Gardner.
Good tackle.
Lee Brown says, thank you, I'll take you to ground. Archer off to Robbins. Hurriedly, Petrie at the spill. King couldn't control it. Casey Green can, but couldn't keep it in play as King and
Glass
go at it. 2-on-1 now. Not sure if that constitutes a wrestle or a melee, but
it does now.
Still they go at it.
Mud wrestling.
Yes. Subi on a very wintry Sunday afternoon. Rawlings gets it to Michael Stevens. Hard up against the boundary. Well, Brent Harvey will get the free kick, but that was milk for every bit it was worth. Clever play nonetheless. The kick touched in flight by Braun. Glass in trouble. Fletcher on his left side to Cousins. Had his fingertips off hands. We've got a throw in. A 15-point margin in favour of the Eagles. That man, Chad Fletcher's been very busy. 16 disposals so far. In and under. And his jumper has seen better days. Petrie slaps it into space. Banfield. Cousins across to Humm. Will get a free kick. Advantage should be paid, although in the end it ends up on the chest of Petrie. A late chance for the Kangaroos here to get a goal. 3 minutes remaining.
A lot of plays inside 50. Try and rove a goal off the pack.
At the front, they'll need a mark. Chance for Grant. Banfield was taken high. The kick was missed. Motlop.
Free kick.
They did pick it up in the end. Drew Banfield was taken high. And in the last line of defence, will relieve the pressure for the Eagles.
They lead by 15 points, West Coast. The next goal vital. Kangaroos desperately need it. It sneaks out to 21 points on a day like today. Starts becoming a big mountain to climb.
I reckon they've hung in well this quarter, though, the Kangaroos.
West Coast have the benefit of a breeze in the second term. Banfield. Cousins accelerates onto it. Tough to pick up in these conditions. Fisted it to Judd as opposed to handballed it. Sampi. Beautiful kick from Judd. Just on the half volley. Great hands to Fletcher, but an even better tackle from Robbins. McDougall at ground level. Makepeace shoved off it by Sampi. Brown tries to crash through. Sampi takes him down. Makepeace tries to burst through the pack. Archer had the kick smothered. It's picked up by McDougall. Fumbles. Archer goes again. It is hot, quick and fierce in there at the moment. Robbins taken down illegally and a free kick. Sinclair has a man on the wing.
Grant's on. Here we go.
Jones to Grant, who tripped up over his teammate's feet. Goes inside 50. Harvey's been so good one-on-one. It spills to the back from Motlop. Banfield to beat. Gets it in front of himself. Looks for a free kick. None forthcoming. Ball hits the behind post.
I just thought I saw a little tug of the jumper there. Motlop thought he may have been retarded. Banfield's right arm there. Bit stiff there, I reckon, Motlop.
Good call for mine.
He fainted a bit too much, didn't he?
Throw in. Punched away by Hunter. Harvey and Braun. Banfield to the line. And at every opportunity, I'd suggest Dean Laidley'd like to get Harvey one-on-one with Braun, because he's really done some damage this afternoon. There's the numbers. The midfield is just working overtime. It's been a tremendous contest. Not high scoring, but thoroughly entertaining. Let's hope there's more to come of this in the second half. McDougall hacks it towards defensive 50. Jones commits the body. Jakovic slides in with the knees and collects Jones. Kerr. Jones slow to get up right of screen. And the rain gets harder if that's possible.
You have to feel sorry for the little leaguers about to make their way onto Subiaco.
Some of them might drown. They better not play in the centre corridor. Socket off the ground. The ball goes out for another throw in, outer side of the ground. Just over a minute remaining. West Coast by 15 points.
And John Worsfold trying to condense his forward line. There's no one inside 50 for the Eagles at the minute.
Just don't want to concede a late goal, West Coast. Be happy to go in 15 points in front. They've kicked 4 goals, 2 to a goal in this term. Rocker inside 50. Get the feeling the Roos over the last couple of minutes have really been steeling themselves for one last assault. And Clayton will get a free kick to give them a chance with 55 seconds remaining in the term. Tough kick from here for Jeremy Clayton.
Have a go.
Into the man on the mark. Not the first time that's happened this afternoon. Ricocheted off Hum. Came to Cousins. He kicked it into the back of Haynes. Kerr to Cousins. Was taken high by Petrie. Picked up by Watt. Screws it to the top of the goal square. Free kick, Kangaroos. Over the shoulder advantage paid. Motlop goal. Motlop gets his first. It was an over the shoulder off the ball. And a vital goal for the Roos, brings them back within 9 points.
A little bit lucky, but I reckon it's a reward for their hard work for this quarter. It was an important period of the quarter, obviously under a minute to go, but they've been throwing themselves at every contest, getting the ball forward when they can. It was
just before the cameras panned down onto Jeremy Hum and Clayton.
It looked to me a tangle of arms that could have actually gone either way.
Such an important goal to the Kangaroos. Right on half-time. Pulls the margin back to within 9 points. McDougall wins the tap. Jones makes no distance with the kick. Time running out. The Eagles with the last opportunity. Hunter drives it inside 50. Mark required. At the spill. Adkins. Archer ever present. Surely Judd can't emerge out of that pack. He can't. Siren sounds. A wonderful first half in very trying conditions at Subiaco. And it's a 9-point lead to the West Coast Eagles.
It was the Kangaroos by 5 points at quarter time. They added 2 goals in this second term. West Coast adding 4 goals too to go to the main break. 9-point leaders, 7-6-48. The Kangaroos 6-3-39. Back shortly from Subi.
The umpires are as well.
Jakovic on to Rocker. So another move there. His third opponent, Sav.
The all-important third term from Subiaco. West Coast by 9 points. Gardner in the ruck. Down to Fletcher. Wrapped up by Robbins. Toe poke by Burton. Picked up by Banfield. Towards half forward, Sampi. Well, now's the time to strike. It's a dry, light ball for the first couple of minutes. Gardner slides into it. He marked it at 55 and finished at about 45. So this ball's still relatively dry. He can give it a good thump.
Yeah, he'll have a ping from there.
Before it gets too wet and heavy. Goes with the torp. Didn't come off.
Still got to play the percentages. Just better off popping that one up.
Sinclair at defensive 25. Chips wide and finds Rawlings. Rawlings goes looking for Petrie. Happy to supply the shepherd to Motlop, who played on, did he? He did. Chick's got him. Spills to Kerr. Great tackle from Petrie. Wrapped him up, pinned the arms. Glass throws it on the boot. Gets it inside 50. Makepeace stands underneath it. There's a free kick off the ball. And it's going the way of the Kangaroos for over the shoulder. It's coming back to Jess Sinclair.
And Dean Laidley going with Brett Harvey on the half-forward line. Basically by himself, he's understood he's been hot today. Braun still his opponent.
Rawlings fumbled, put himself under some pressure, tumbled a kick to Robbins. To Anthony Stevens for his 12th touch. Beautiful searching kick. Found Makepeace on the wing. Wants to move it on quickly. The lead comes from Rocker. Too much on the kick. Through the hands of Djakovic. And socket off the ground by Braun. Mark taken by Cousins. 17th touch for the skipper. Goes short to Djakovic. Wants to load it up with the torp. Again, didn't quite catch it. Hunter worked Baird under the ball. Spills to the back and Watt. Tries to step around Hunter. Handball went looking for Baird. Found the boundary.
So the West Coast Eagles out by 9 points. It was the Kangaroos by 5 points at quarter time. And with the aid of the breeze, the Kangaroos desperate to stay within reach. Ball thumped back over the line. Michael Gardner doing a power of work in this match. Opposed to Spider Burton. Still gloomy conditions, rain continuing to tumble. Ball tossed back into play. Gardner wins it. Rawlings tries to thump it forward. Chick taken off the football. Robbins is there. Umpire lets it go. Shannon Grant lost control. Rawlings. Anthony Stevens makes about 15 metres. Jones onto the boot fortuitously. Picks out Chick. Daniel Chick. Quick to move it on. A high ball. Good mark taken about 25 metres out by Andrew McDougall.
And Shannon Watt very, very unlucky there. He remained in the central corridor and the ball's come off Daniel Chick's off the side of his boot, and McDougall was basically in open space for a period, and Shannon Watt just didn't quite have the closing speed to knock that footy out of his hands.
Made his debut in round 22 against the Kangaroos last year in Canberra. Went on to play in the elimination final. Turns 20 today. The birthday present will have to wait for the time being, although a mark almost taken by Embley. A chance still. The Eagles. Sampi dodges. Well, here's trouble for the Kangaroos. Judd hooks around his body, getting back. McDougall had another crack at it. Off hands. The margin out to 10 points. And that man, Chris Judd. A sigh of relief from Dean Laidley when his kick fell short. King wants to move it quickly. Spots up Sinclair. He's been pretty good for them this afternoon. Makepeace cruising past from half-back. An open half-forward line. Harvey runs onto it. Juggling effort. Takes the mark.
They've got to make a move there.
Rocker on the lead. Doesn't get that far. Robbins. Hand pass into space. It's all the Eagles. Eagles player down behind play. Looks like Cousins with an ankle. Have to keep an eye on that. Mark taken at half-back by Hunter, but Ben Cousins still on his haunches. Now getting to his feet.
Looking for the medical staff though. Looking a bit sore and sorry at the moment. Hunter. Big pack of players on the wing. Chick got hands to it. Stevens at the front. The outside of the boot to keep it alive. Where Punter spun out of trouble. Handball to Banfield. Ineffective kick. Chance for Brown to load up for the Kangaroos. Sinks the boot into it. Inside 50. Rocker and Djakovic hum at the front. Crunch went McDougall. Clayton in there as well. Slapped forward by Motlop. Picked up by Petrie. Given to Rocker. Kick smothered off his boot. Petrie went again. Banfield to Hunter. High ball. Chick called out of it by Gardner. The big man takes the mark at defensive 55. Michael Gardner. 7th touch for him.
Eagles going with two tall forwards. Embley centre-half forward and McDougall deep. Sampi, no doubt, will get underneath them.
Thumps it back towards the wing. Brown up in front. Good clean hands. Takes the mark.
He reads the play pretty well, this boy. If he's the opportunity to get a kick behind the play as a ruckman, he normally does it pretty well.
Goes to Baird. Handball to Sinclair. Missed the target. They're the little 1% errors that we've been talking about all day. Sampi. Soccers off the ground. Big chance now for West Coast. Punter gathers at 55. Embley's got 15 metres on his man, Archer. Will the ball stay alive? Can he gather? He gets it inside the line. Squares it up. Soccer style to Sampi. David Beckham, eat your heart out. Sampi goals. Clever kick from Andrew Embley. Crossed it to Sampi, who buried it in the back of the net.
You thought they were in trouble when Wirapunda's kick didn't hit Embley, but good play. He didn't rush at Embley, just weighed up his option, realised Sampi was running into an open goal, and, well, put that down to talent or casualness. I'm not too sure. I would have thought he would have actually grasped that into his hands, Sampi, but I think he knew what he was doing.
Touch of brilliance from Ashley Sampi, although a fine line between...
Pleasure and pain.
Exactly.
No, he's done it once, he'll do it again.
On song, the West Coast Eagles here. At half forward, the Kangaroos. Look at that mud go everywhere. Well,
there's one for the highlights reel.
Who is that?
Petrie.
We'll try and identify him. His mother wouldn't know him at the moment. Ball goes to ground. Player over it is Shannon Grant. He's been pinged for holding the football.
Someone get Drew Petrie a mobile phone so he can ring his family and tell him he's all right.
Well, the towel has come out to Drew Petrie. And they are scenes you very rarely see here in the West. In fact, anywhere in the AFL nowadays. Mud splattered everywhere. Half forward the kick goes. Pack develops. The Eagles calling for a free kick. Embley is there. Robbins wants to get it out now. He's taken a long time. Sampi, Fletcher, off his step, inside the 50. Loose ball comes to Jones. Onto the boot. The captain has it. Anthony Stevens, playing his 265th game. Measures the pass, looking for Motlop. Not a lot of support, but he's got the free kick he was held onto. Advantage won't be paid initially. Daniel Chick touching the shoulder. Not a good sign for he or the Eagles. Very handy margin now of 16 points in favour of West Coast. Daniel Motlop has the football.
No one really leading hard at him. I think Sav wants the big one in just to make a contest and get numbers at the fall of the footy.
Kick one goal this afternoon to Baird, who's pushed up from defence. Time to assess his options. Clayton, was he taken down? Not illegally according to the umpire. Still he fights the little man. Cousins. Robbins is there. Good luck trying to get a possession. Hum does the obvious thing onto the boot. Wirapunda the target. Archer goes to ground. Exquisite skills from Wirapunda. Held without the football. Umpire, no whistle. Wells, he's got Rocker short. 65 from home. Nothing to go to. He'll have to throw it on his boot. Central kick. It's dangerous. Kangaroos with a chance though through Stevens. Hurriedly into the pocket. Green not looking at the flight of the footy. Hum is there as well. Over the football. Hunter plays it well to Jakovic. And the cool head of the four-time club champion relieves for the West Coast Eagles. The kick was ill directed. Baird storming forward. Gets it across to Harvey. 50 out. Goes for home. Just misses to the right-hand side. Minor score.
Geez, looked dangerous all day, hasn't he, Harvey? Whether he's one-on-one with Braun or whether he's facing goals, having a crack at them. He looks in a bit of strife there, Daniel Chick.
He was a bit off the ball. That was moments ago. Motlop and Green got to know each other a little bit better just off camera there. And Hum has it in the back pocket. West Coast by 15 points. Next goal vital again. The Roos really do need it. Hum outside defensive 50. Onto the chest of Petrie and off again. Rawlings. Fletcher. Rawlings tackles Fletcher. The ball spills to Cousins. Towards the wing. Baird in the middle of that pack. Haynes at the front. Spills. Judd. Laser Shepherd for Gardner. Handball smothered. Gardner a clever toe poke. Judd a timely Shepherd. Makepeace. Towards Grant. Got one hand in there. Slapped it away from Kerr, who went to ground. He's gone down in a screaming heap. Actually, has Daniel Kerr. We'll get back to him shortly. Hurt the ankle or the knee. Went down in a fair bit of pain.
It's coming off.
Just be running it out, I think.
One thing West Coast have, I reckon, tried to do there, maybe just got caught under Shannon Grant there. When there's a teammate going for the footy, there'll be a Shepherd right around that area. I reckon that's a deliberate change that they've made at half-time, West Coast.
So Sinclair put his body on the line, won a free kick for in the back. Emerges quickly, kicks to David King, 65 from goal. King wants to go quickly, tumbles it. Wirapunda on the chest. Some late attention from Clayton. Wirapunda has the mark 25 metres from goal. Let's head down to Michael Thompson.
Jason, Daniel Chick being examined by the club doctor at the moment. Don't like the look of it. He's just coming up now. In fact, he's not looking as bad as we first thought. In fact, I think Daniel Chick's going to be all right. He was grimacing with pain, but the way he's now talking to the doctor, Rod Moore, I suspect he will come back on.
Braun to Hum, but only as far as Baird. They've got numbers at centre-half forward. He spots them now. One of them was Harvey, the other was King.
Good kick.
He goes with the former. He takes the mark. Goes laterally to Watt, who can thump it long. It'll be a 2-on-1. Jones and Clayton there for the Roos. Hunter and the boundary line. And the latter wins.
Still trying to create, aren't they, the Kangaroos, even in these conditions. He's a tough cookie, he'll be okay, Daniel Chick. But a good little switch midfield by the Kangaroos. The final kick inside 50 wasn't all that flash, but they're still having a crack trying to break the game up midfield.
It's been a bruising encounter. Cousins has been injured at certain stages. Kerr.
Well done.
Chick. Taken by Rocker. Goes towards the pocket. Past Motlop and Green. And the ball slides over the line on Casey Green's chest. Daniel Kerr now off the ground.
And that may be a factor. A couple of little niggles for the West Coast wouldn't help. Kerr looks like he's hobbling a little bit. Daniel Chick, of course, in a bit of strife. And those two boys are very, very physical around the packs.
And there's a blood rule. Looks to be Daniel Motlop or Casey Green. They're both trotting towards the boundary line. It's Green. Just have a shiner under the right eye maybe coming up, is it? Or is it just a bit of mud? We'll have a look at that more closely with Michael Thompson in a moment. There it is there. A little bit of a nick under the right eye for Casey Green. He'll get that attended to. There it is there.
Good spot up by the umpire with the mud splattered over the face.
So play to restart. It's in the forward pocket for the Roos. They trail by 15 points.
Rocker's normally pretty good in these boundary throw-ins.
Stevens lurks at the front. Rocker tried to get it down to him. Wouldn't. Escorts it back over the line. Stevens with frustration almost had it.
Well, it almost came off, didn't it? I mean, Jakovic has to force his way inside Rocker on this boundary throw and can't allow him first tap at the footy.
Daniel Kerr's run round the boundary line and gone straight up the race into the West Coast room. So more on him from Michael Thompson shortly. Jakovic with strength and thumps it long. 65-metre talk to the wing. Haynes worked Baird under the ball. Sinclair comes across to cut it off and finds the line.
It was good play by Sinclair because he left his man. And when you do that, you have to make an impact on the footy, and that's what he did.
Get the feeling it's an important couple of minutes coming up. The next score vital in this one.
Well, you know the Kangaroos aren't going away given their history.
They trail by 15 points. And they need the next one. Gardner slaps it over the back, but it was only King there for the Kangaroos. Has time to bend down and pick it up. Steps inside Banfield. Couldn't really get boot to ball. It's a good tackle from Banfield. Cousins to Fletcher. Inside 50. Tumbling kick off the side of the boot. Over the line and out of bounds, which is where we find Michael Thompson.
Daniel Kerr has gone down to the chain rooms to have his ankle strapped. I just spoke to Rod Moore, the doctor. He said Kerr will be all right. And Daniel Chick will be coming back onto the ground very shortly.
Some injury concerns for the West Coast Eagles. They do hold a 15-point lead, but Daniel Chick and Daniel Kerr off the ground. Another boundary throw-in. Just precautionary measures you'd hope with Chick at this stage, but the news perhaps a little worse for Daniel Kerr going straight up the race. Gardner slaps it to a hot spot. Braun's body was catapulted over that pack. Wells off the ground. Banfield over the football. Gives it across to Judd. Breaks free. To the top of the square. Marked by Embley. Just hard work in and under. Chris Judd with a bit of class. And Andrew Embley from almost point-blank range should extend the Eagles' lead.
Another example of Judd. See Braun going over the top of only needing half a metre. Just the way he gets away from congestion is incredible.
Andrew Embley, that's what confronts him. Oh dear. Shooting for his third. No gimmies in these conditions.
Snap hooked it, didn't he?
He's missed. 16 points is the lead. Still handy, but that one would have made it very difficult for the Kangaroos to kick 4 goals to hit the front. Troy Makepeace. A long ball. Archer, one of the targets. So too Baird, who came across from the side and took a clever mark. Off to Grant. Pinpoints it to King. Runners outside. Heads in that direction now. Gathered by Rawlings. Just outside the 50. Good transference of play by the Kangaroos. Hum missed the mark. Over the football now. He's got a problem. Robbed of it by Harris. He goes to ground. Ball trapped beneath a couple of players. And the Kangaroos did that very well from the full-back line.
Great setup, wasn't it? They've been pretty good all day from the point kick-ins. Makepeace normally does the kicking in from that position, but a great little setup team-wise from the Kangas.
Opportunity here for the Roos. 25 out from their goals. Well done by Rocker. Hooked it behind. Looking for Robbins. Eagles get back in numbers. Glass and Fletcher, who's been terrific this afternoon.
I reckon Jakovic needs a bit of assistance here. Sav's a big boy. He needs a third man coming in over the top.
Kangaroos dominating the marks. Robbins, quick kick, important goal. Claims it was touched. It was. Gee, the umpire had to be right on his mettle there. Robbins claimed the goal, but there was a fingernail on there. Let's watch it again.
Oh, Ben Cousins.
Did he hit the ball?
We'll never know. Jakovic tumbles it outside 50. Onto the chest of Wooden, who looks far too clean. He'll go short and finds Banfield in the centre square. Runners cruising by. Banfield goes to centre half forward. Sampi at the back. Baird spoiled his own man Makepeace. Here's the exciting Wells. Brilliant to Makepeace. And now the Kangaroos have some numbers forward of the ball. King takes the mark. Held up by Wooden. Stevens on out wide, goes up the middle to Rocker. The bare minimum 15, that one. Rocker too far out to score. He goes short. Robbins has snuck inside 50 and takes the mark. He might even be too far out to score.
That's a great kick from Sav. He speared that in. The margin of error, or of error in these conditions is very, very small. Precision kick.
Big kick this one in the context of the game. They trail by 15 points. And Robbins not that confident about the distance. It is a big kick in these conditions. We've played 18.5 minutes with this heavy ball. Sure enough, boots it into the man on the mark. Just going for that extra yardage. Grant tumbles it through his legs. Here's Wooden. Still manages to stay on his feet and keep clean. Only a matter of time, surely. We'll have a throw in. There's Daniel Chick receiving some treatment. Looks to be to the right shoulder.
Yeah, maybe the OC joint there.
The magic spray out. As if you need anything colder than it already is today. Jakovic hacked it out of the congestion, but only as far as Petrie and the Roos get another chance.
Yeah, good forward pressure, wasn't it? West Coast, well, they won that contested ball from the boundary throw-in, but it wasn't a clean takeaway. Good pressure, the ball just went up in the air.
Brent Harvey coming across to have words with Drew Petrie, just to talk him through it. Needs to watch his footing here because his run-up is right through a big patch of mud.
I reckon he'd be saying, make sure you're not kicking into the man on the mark. We've probably seen half a dozen of them today, haven't we?
Small steps could be the key here. We saw Daniel Chick do it very cleverly early in the game. So here's Petrie. Enormous kick, this one. Of 4 steps. Keeps it low. Just fades to the right-hand side. Off hands. And through for a behind. So the Roos with a couple of opportunities, but it is pretty tough to convert. We saw Andrew Embley miss one from 15 metres out directly in front.
And interesting, Wirapunda's actually moved forward. He's actually won out with Embley on the full forward line for the West Coast Eagles. Sampi at about centre half forward.
Let's go, Glenn, is the call from umpire Derek Humphrey-Smith. Jakovic again will thump it long. This next goal still vital. Clever from Gardner over the back. Chance for Judge to just let Fletcher run onto it, which he did. Rawlings put his body on the line to stop progress for West Coast. Judd goes back again. Brilliant to Jones. Big play this one. Comes to Carroll. Carroll will go inside 50 and find Haynes. Again, tough kick. He's going to have to go 45.
He's a long kick though, isn't he?
Wants to move it on quickly. Thumps it long. It's across the face. It's still there for West Coast. Watt couldn't get boot to ball. Archer wants to crash through. He did get foot to ball. Gets it outside defensive 50. And Brown through it.
Dear me.
Unnecessary. Could be costly.
Just had to run over the boundary line, didn't he? It was a tight situation, a low-risk play, which didn't come off. Gardner to full forward. At the spill, Makepeace onto the chest of Hum at the 50. Jeremy Hum kicks towards the top of the square. The numbers are with the Kangaroos. Baird was there. Sampi being careful not to interfere with him. Comes across to Robbins. Rawlings. King hurried off the football. Wooden is there. He's recognisable. Across to Glass. Jakovic onto the boot quickly. The Kangaroos desperate here, but the Eagles are pressing. Wooden. Slick hand pass. Jones. Carroll up from defence. What can he do? He can kick a goal! Trent Carroll celebrates.
Showing unbelievable poise there from wasn't it from Trent Carroll? Just threw out a little dummy and the Kangaroos defender went to ground. Just hard work. That's all it took. Rawlings just a little bit off step and he went to ground. And a great little finish over a couple of other Kangaroos players.
So West Coast out to a 20-point margin. Here's Michael Thompson.
Daniel Chick has had his right shoulder strapped. It's just bruising around the shoulder. The physios are sure he's going to be all right. Chick's determined to get back on the ground. He'll be back soon.
Brown. Here's Motlop to Stevens. Motlop will go again. Stevens wrapped up. Wooden there. Finally getting some mud on him. King goes off the ground. Roos desperately need the next one. Ferrito lunges. Couldn't quite take it. Harvey went off the deck. Glass to the wing was a clever kick. Good vision. Found Haynes. Haynes can look up. Go with the finger break at a half forward. Off the chest of Baird. Has Wells in support and uses him now. Dribbled the kick. Went looking for Motlop. Haynes sees it to the line. As Glass comes to the boundary line to be replaced by Daniel Chick. In fact, it'll be Green that'll come on for him. And Chick will come on for McDougall. West Coast have made their move. They lead by 20 points. The Roos have to respond before three-quarter time, you'd think. Archer to Sinclair. Motlop will fly from the back. At ground level. Green. Almost off the knee, not quite. Out of bounds, another throw in. Just under 2 3/4 minutes remaining as McDougall has a spell. It's been a real grind in this term. 2-2 to West Coast. The Kangaroos just 3 behinds. Daniel Kerr's been strapped up. Just dried off a bit. Had to come back out into the rain. We'll see if he returns in the final term. Just calling for the blanket over his knees at the moment to try and keep himself warm. Free to West Coast.
Yeah, a couple of errors from Lee Brown. Won the throw on that one, a ruck infringement the last couple of minutes.
So Gardner from 65 goes to the pocket. Never a chance, Embley.
Again, not the percentage kick, was it? To the pocket, gone out of bounds. Give the Kangaroos time just to mop up this last couple of minutes. Would have preferred him to go to the top of the square.
I think West Coast would be reasonably happy to hold it in their own forward line for the last couple of minutes. A 20-point lead at the final change in these conditions is pretty handy. There's a free kick the other way. Ruck infringement to the Roos. One last roll of the dice for them in the third term. Andrew Embley stands the mark. Alongside umpire Scott McLaren. Watt to Stevens. Thumps it on the boot. Hum off the chest. Harris. Out again. Stalemate developed in the last couple of minutes. Fletcher off. Kerr back into the action.
19 possessions for Fletcher.
It's at boundary side, Michael Thompson.
Yeah, the Eagles medical staff absolutely convinced that Kerr's got no long-term problems. Had it restrapped, he's feeling fine, just itching to get back out there. We've just seen him go back on.
Cousins ran over it. Rawlings, where Punda tries to keep it alive. Got boot to ball, but it was over the line by then. So it was a throw in.
Just over 90 seconds left in this third quarter. A 20-point lead. Very sizable. The Kangaroos just kicked the 3 behinds in this quarter. A lot of work to do to add to that. With just over a minute remaining. Gardner tries to hook it behind. Sampi is there. Brown gives it to Wells. Onto the boot quickly. Laurie Jones traps it okay. 3 or 4 Kangaroos around this football, one of whom is Robbins. Across to Makepeace. Bouncing ball doesn't accommodate Motlop. It does Banfield. Wooden wants to come inside by hand. Does so now to Carroll, the last goal kicker. Tried to take them on, did Tommy Carroll. From Wooden, across to Casey Green. Cousins sliding forward. Ferrito's there. Eventually comes to Green. Important ball to be won. Michael Stevens has it. Chips it out wide looking for Baird. It bounces obligingly. And John Baird can give the Kangaroos one last chance to kick a goal. Rawlings underneath the scoreboard. Drives it to half forward and Stevens has run on.
Nowhere to go.
No one inside 50 at all.
Has to kick it towards space. Carroll's there. He'll have to be good because King's sweating on him.
Well done.
King does brilliantly on his wrong side. Doesn't matter. Hooks it back. Important goal for the Roos.
And well done, Michael Stevens. Just the second effort. He was involved on about the half-back line, but he received the ball on the half-forward line. Good run after that first initial effort. The problem is that Carroll just went to the ground. King did nothing, but all he did was retain his feet. Gee, talk about playing percentages, and one of the main roles of a backman deep in defence is to keep your feet.
Huge play, that one. Brings the Roos back within 14 points, and that's striking distance for the final term.
I wouldn't be surprised in this last quarter to see Glenn Archer brought up into the middle of the ground just with his aggression. Be a bit like Gary Ayres in the late 80s for Hawthorn in tough conditions. Put someone with that physical nature in there.
Looms is a cracking final term. Gardner got the tap down to Grant. Little give to Baird. 15 seconds remaining, was taken high. Is there time for the Roos? They need to get the ball back quickly.
We've got 2 forwards inside 51
Is
out.
it 50?
It is.
Didn't give it back. It is 50. And there'll be 10 seconds remaining, so time for a pass as well. Because from outside 50, you've no chance to kick it in these conditions, you'd think. David King directing traffic. They want to move it quickly. It's going to come back.
Well, that's fortunate for the Kangaroos because I think John Baird will have to take the kick.
That's what Derek Humphrey-Smith's just telling Scott McLaren now. It's got to be Baird's kick. They didn't call time off, though. That was the interesting thing. So the 10 seconds that the Roos just had are gone.
Well, we've seen the torpedo used.
Well, that's a mistake,
today.
isn't it?
That is a mistake.
Yeah.
They should have had 10 seconds on the clock.
Yep, there was all dead time there. The umpire was just getting the player on the mark in position, so the clock shouldn't have kept running.
Surely a torpedo is the option here, given the distance.
Well, that's disastrous for the Kangaroos. So Baird needs to come up with something special. Through the mud from 55. Launches with everything, but it's tumbling to the line, bouncing, and no score. So 3/4 time at Subiaco. We're poised for a classic finish. Dean Lately, I think, just giving the umpires, well, he's telling them exactly what we've just said. West Coast 9-8-62. The Roos 7-6-48. The home side by 14 points at the final change. Final term at Subiaco. West Coast leading by 14 points. Brown and Gardner down to Harris. Kick smothered. Chance for Chick. Goes off the ground. Michael Stevens gets the front running. Chick nudges him off the ball. It comes back to King. To Lee Brown. Grant just eludes his grasp.
Pick up.
Motlop a great pick up. Handball too fierce for Harris. Tries to step away from Green, can't do so. Stevens tries to get around Banfield. He's equally unsuccessful. And Jones is away for West Coast. To half forward. Watt read it better off the boot. Took the mark on the chest at defensive 50. They need the first goal, the Kangaroos. You saw it 3/4 time. Dean Lately had them nice and fired up. It's a winnable game as far as they're concerned. They'll throw everything in the next half an hour of football. Stevens flew across the pack. It's spilt to Kerr. He fumbles. Ball finds the line.
Interesting that Daniel Wells has started this quarter in the back pocket on Ashley Samper, so Dean Laidley continuing his education.
Brown done the bulk of the ruck work this afternoon. Matthew Burton back from a spell. Hasn't had a lot of match time. Chick goes off the ground, gains some meterage. Carroll starting up forward alongside Baird. The boundary line wins again.
First goal so important. And the Kangaroos will have to take some chances to win here in this final quarter. The throw in, Brown gets front position, Kerr across to Fletcher, dangerous on his left side across the face, we're under! No mark, Wells is there, not conditions suited to him, but he does score it over for a boundary throw in.
Bit of talent between those two boys.
Bit of hair too.
Leave me out of that one. Boundary throw in. Inside the 50.
Well
brilliantly done by Gardner. Accommodates Embley. Pulls it back. The Eagles get the first goal of the final quarter.
Good little setup, wasn't it? They do this pretty well, and I guess when you've got Michael Gardner doing the boundary throw-ins in the forward half, you've got the ability to get someone on. Just a deft touch by Gardner. No one marking the space behind that back from the Kangaroos' point of view. So again, an Eagle kicking a goal with no opposition essentially on his goal side. Good setup play from the Eagles.
Well, we've seen West Coast score multiple goals from stoppages inside their own 50 this afternoon. Judd and Embley spring to mind. Embley's got 3 goals. They're marching out to 20 points. Gardner get hands on it again. Cousins fumbled. Gardner went back and got it. Dished it to Banfield. Banfield goes looking for Jones. Rawlings floats across. Brings it to ground. Stevens went with a toe poke. Chick made contact towards half forward. Watt, but only as far as Hunter. Inside 50. Judge just snuck away again. Brown got there in the nick of time at ground level. Socket off the ground. Chance for Kerr. Archer committed his body. Sinclair's got mud in his eyes. He can't see. Jess Sinclair. And it's through from behind to the West Coast Eagles. And David Wirapunda. The Eagles pressing hard. There's Sinclair still. Had to step out of that contest. Let his man get away because he simply could not see. Makepeace. Sinclair throws away the towel as opposed to throwing it in, which the Kangaroos never do.
I hope that's not symbolic, yeah.
Harris. Chick goes off the ground.
Oh,
Effective. Embley again.
he's been good, Daniel Chick. Just got the ball forward, I reckon, 3 or 4 times. Forward 20 or 30 metres, just with little sockers off the deck. Maybe he doesn't want to pick the ball off the ground, given the fact that he's only got one wing at the minute. But just his physical presence around the contested ball has been important.
Embley again calling for the towel, and again the umpire saying to the trainer, stay away. Obviously a ruling now. Towels aren't allowed to be used. Clean up the football. You just got to kick it as it is. So Embley trots inside 50 to 45. Keeps it low. And misses. 3 goals, 2 to Andrew Embley. Could have easily been 4 goals, 1. Missed the easiest one of the day, and in these conditions, that's almost a match-winning performance.
Dean Laidley declared on arrival in Perth his team would need almost a miracle to win here this afternoon. They're still in the hunt, but another goal and it becomes very difficult. Brown is the target on the outer side. He takes the mark.
Just getting numbers behind the footy, though, now the West Coast Eagles, making it very difficult for the Kangaroos to get their flow-on play working and happening. So good coaching and good team play from the Eagles.
They start to break now for Lee Brown. Goes for the torpedo, makes terrific contact at the back. Runners required. Harvey is there. Goes off the ground, into the pocket. Jakovic lopes after it. With him is Rocker. No speed merchants in that contest. Off hands. They have a throw in.
Good play there by Jakovic. Just getting his hands behind the footy. I thought he may have actually tried to soccer that ball off the ground, but that would have obviously brought the boundary line into play. So good percentage play.
Ball thrown back in. Comes to the side, and Grant tries to bust through a couple of tackles. Corey Jones wraps up Banfield. Umpire eventually blows the whistle. West Coast Eagles 22 points in front. A young bench wait their chance in this final turn. Jakovic, Chick, once again off the ground. Valuable 30 metres. Brown hacks it, so too Judd. Well, on cue, Jones eventually puts it into the pocket. Harvey, dangerous in this situation. Hard up against the boundary. Still he goes. Puts it to the square. Jakovic, cool in a crisis. A high ball at the 50. Bodies required. Gardner's knee hit a divot. That affected his attempt to take the mark. Comes to Chick. Roos it towards half forward. Daniel Motlop has it. Rebound football. A chance for King. Just forward of the wing. He goes for the torpedo. Falls short. Needed an extra 5 or 10 metres, and as a result, Casey Green hugged it to his chest. 22 points the margin. Less than 15 minutes remaining.
Green to the wing. Jones will fly from the back over Sinclair. Through the legs of Wells and Sampi. Got it out to Jones. One arm pinned, as you saw. Baird. Gang tackle. Ball up.
I reckon in general play, the Eagles are actually trying to play this game contest by contest, so slow things down, whereas the Kangaroos are obviously trying to attack whenever they get an opportunity to go forward.
Brown and Gardner. Harris through the congestion was great. Did well, got it to Grant. Thumps it towards the 50. Clayton attacks it for the Kangaroos. Tries to turn Hum inside out. Did well. Squares it up to Rocker. That's brilliant play from the second gamer. Jeremy Clayton shown some glimpses this afternoon. He's from North Ballarat, so he'd be reasonably familiar with these conditions.
It's a warm summer's day for him then. Gee, great poise on the boundary line, wasn't it? Just brought this ball in, knew exactly where Jeremy Hum was, but gee, the kick, only a little pass, but had to be perfect.
Severio Rocker, 3 goals in the opening term. The goal here would bring them back to within 16 points. They need to get excited, the Roos. They need consecutive goals. Can Rocker get them going? On its way. It's a good-looking kick. Can he squeeze it inside the right post? He can. Severio Rocker gets his 4th. This one is not over. The Roos back within 16 points. We've played 9 minutes. It's been a cracking contest at Subiaco. We trust you've enjoyed it right round Australia. Ivan exclusive on Fox Footy.
Gee, again, Severio Rocker getting probably 4 or 5 metres on his direct opponent. He's already seen off Trent Carroll, Darren Glass, and now Jakovic is his opponent, but just on the burst, he's been too good today.
Terrific return for Sav Rocker. 4 goals, 3 of which came in the opening quarter. Game restarted. Braun hacks it forward. Sliding in there was Carroll.
Surely.
Over the football, no whistle. Cousins, driving kick, across the face of goals. The Kangaroos with the numbers. Motlop around his body. Clever kick. Ball just teasing Rawlings and Gardner right to the very end. 16 points. Still a handy lead, but gettable from a Kangaroos viewpoint. From the throw-in, it comes to Sinclair. Harvey tries to work Braun off the football. The Eagle got a fist in there, but Harvey pushes it forward yet again. A game of metres at the moment, and Glass the last to touch it before it goes over. An open forward line for the Kangaroos. Just Clayton inside the attacking 50. So danger here for the Eagles if the Kangaroos can break clear. The thump towards the boundary line is over and out.
Yeah, Rocker's come up to do the ruck work there, Mark. And big ask for young Clayton deep inside the forward 50, but he's had a good game, so why not isolate? And look at that space between this pack and Clayton at full forward.
Rocker at the front. Third man in was Jones. Comes to King in space. Here's a chance. David King, 35 out. That gets the Kangaroos back in this game. Brilliant stuff by the Kangaroos from a set play, open forward line. They did the rest. And boy, a couple of quick goals. The margin back to 10 points. Game on at Subiaco Ben Allen.
Unbelievable. What a team play. Just incredible. You can actually do that setup, but the problem is you've got to still get your hands on the ball, and that's what King did.
So David King's second goal, and the Roos are simply never beaten. 10 points the margin. We've played 11 and a half minutes in the final term. Harvey goes off the ground towards half forward. Ferrito and Glass. Harris arrives. He's flanked by Hunter. Glass in there again. King, Harris, Glass. Ball up. Let's head down to Michael Thompson.
I admire the courage of Daniel Chick. I'm just watching him as he runs around. He is a winged eagle, running around like a little Hitler, holding his hand up, in a lot of pain, but continues on. An extraordinary effort.
John Worsfold watches on. Some anxious moments in the West Coast box. Cousins dances his way out of trouble. Goes for a run. Baird up it. Takes the mark on his chest. In front of Carroll.
Do you just wonder how important Adam Simpson would have been for the Kangaroos today?
And Lee Harding in these conditions. Gallen is always the Roos. Not interested in honourable losses though. They want the win. Jones has it at half back.
Well, they're controlling the game at this point.
Free kick, holding off the ball, and it's an important one. It's going West Coast way over the shoulder. And ouch, that hurts. This could be a huge play. It's coming back to David Warapunda. Wonderful crowd in. 36,641 the attendance. David Warapunda just forward of the centre. Goes with a drop punt inside 50. Stevens almost gets boot to ball. Big play. Harris tried to flip it to Archer. Archer lost his feet, landed heavily. Harris will go again. King, Soccer's off the ground. Chick watches it go to the line.
Keeps his feet well, doesn't he, David King? Very strong in the lower half of his body.
Doesn't Daniel Harris thrive in these conditions? Putting his body in time after time. Very impressive. Gardner put it out into the path of Cousins. Maybe just an arm over Makepeace momentarily. Jones to the line. Throw in. Ben Cousins having an influence in this final term. He's up to 21 possessions. Daniel Chick with 6 for the quarter. As Michael Thompson mentioned, really only with the use of one arm, the left. Green wrapped up. And a ball up. Centre wing out of side at Subiaco. 10 3/4 minutes remaining. It's the home side by 10 points. It's been a ripping contest from the word go in difficult conditions. Jones puts it out in front of Harris and Banfield. A one-on-one. Harris did well. Flips it to the advantage of King. Just fumbled, and that's the 1%ers we've talked about all afternoon. It's the little things in these conditions.
It just look like they know what they're doing. Corey Jones coming over the top, a role that actually Adam Simpson does with aplomb for the Kangaroos, but just get the ball going their way. Again, a lot of space, goal side of this pack.
Still plenty of time for the Kangaroos. Big pack around this football. Boundary line again, the best friend of Jones, and he finds it. The Kangaroos have been terrific in tight matches, so they'd fancy their chances in the remaining 10 minutes. They've won their last 3 games by a combined total of 22 points.
Good play by Braun just to drop off the pack.
From the throw-in, Jakovic wins it. Only as far as Harris. Important ball here towards the goal mouth. Wells wrestles there with Sampi. Still Wells goes cleverly. Knocks it out to Jones. Off her step. Flying shot misses the lot. But the Kangaroos are looking the better of the two sides at the present time.
That's what we were talking about earlier, Ben, with the skillful players, the likes of Wells and Judd, their skills, even in the wet, just shine.
He was incredible then, Wells. Just had control of the footy, even though it was on the deck, just knew exactly what he was doing.
Petrie, very late out of the dugout. Onto the ground. Mark taken by Sampi. Oops, wanted to get it on quickly. Didn't make great contact. Chopped off by Wells, who's been busy in this final quarter. Lots of bodies over the football. Well, the umpire says, give it to me.
And there's probably no need for young Sambi to rush that. Just get back on the man on the mark and kick it long. Just didn't go far back enough on that occasion.
See the space. Goal side for the Eagles. Chick got the kick away. Rulings. Mark wasn't paid. Didn't go 15. Rule was touched. Here's a chance for Petrie. Tries to squeeze out a hand pass. Brilliantly done. Harvey, the captain, Stevens. Just slides it to the left, but that was brilliant football by Harvey. The little toe poke was superb. Back to 9 points. Crowd getting involved. Game alive at Subiaco Oval.
We played almost 17 minutes. Jakovic with the kick in.
Not much movement from the West Coast Eagles' point of view. Jacko's got to go long to a target.
See it there from the wide shot. Very static. Petrie flies across the top. Gets fist the ball. And they'll set up 60 metres out from the Kangaroos goal.
And they'd probably be happy with that, given the fact they've got Gardner doing the boundary throw-in work.
He pulls back off the pack now to man up Lee Brown. Lee Brown went to the wing to build the wall. Gardner decided, I'll go with it.
Good play by Brown to get him out of the action.
So Glass was in there contesting for West Coast. It went to the back. Chick. Jones got into the path of it. Sockers it inside 50. Stevens had it slapped off his boot. Chick taken down by Jones. Comes to Petrie. He gets boot to ball. Hum in best position. Clayton forces a contest. Wins it at ground level. Gives it to Grant. And the Roos are back within 3 points. Shannon Grant kicks the goal. And the Kangaroos irresistible in the final term at Subiaco. Super football from them. Great spirit.
Have a look
Fox
at
Footy viewers tomorrow night on the couch. Lethal Lee Matthews will be joining Jared, Mike and Rob.
But what about the work of Clayton? Just incredible. He's in his second game. Unbelievable. He set up about 3 goals for this side. Good finish from this bloke.
The Roos back within 3 points. Subi, 18 and a half minutes gone. Jones puts his body in. King, so clever. Off the ground again. Petrie. Glass in there. King again off the ground. And again he'll go, David King. He runs to 25. He'll go for the 4th effort. Slaps it to Harris. Harvey there as well. Stevens. The Warriors, the War Horses.
King slow to get to his feet. Let's just hope it's exhaustion and nothing more serious than that. He's up okay.
They set up again inside their own forward 50.
3 points to lead to the West Coast Eagles. Rocker slaps it behind. Taken by Cousins. He's got Glass running for him. Which way will it bounce? Watt has got to commit himself. He's got a couple of Eagles to beat. He'll look for the boundary line and finds it. Well played by Shannon Watt. What a game of football at Subiaco. The West Coast Eagles look to be in control, leading by 20 points. But the Kangaroos, with 9 clearances in a row, have been terrific getting back into this contest. From the restart, knocked forward. Anthony Stevens and Judd go toe-to-toe. We'll have another throw-in.
I reckon Corey Jones has been important for the Kangaroos this quarter. He's been thrown into the midfield, occasionally been third man up, but just getting the ball forward a couple of times. Good hard work from him.
The spirit of these shinboners, Dean Laidley said this would be their best win of the year. Well, it may well end up being that. Judd tries to break free. Motlop emerges somehow. Gets it down to King. Throws it on his boot. Running with the flight of the foot. He was Makepeace. A chance for Grant. Watch out. Kerr wraps him up. Kangaroos surging forward. Inside the attacking 50. Harris over the football. Slaps it across. Kick back into play. Towards the pocket. No mark taken. Big Sav. Lumbers. Jones. Kick ineffective. Jones run down from behind. Umpire doesn't blow the whistle. Motlop was there. So too Harris. He goes to ground. Frenetic footy inside the attacking 50 for the Kangaroos. Makepeace goes to ground. This is one game of pressure football.
What about the work rate? The second and third and fourth efforts from both sides. Incredible.
36-year-old Dean Laidley, what a baptismal fire he's had in his first year as coach. Some emotional wins. This, a tight, scrappy affair in diabolical conditions. Jones went for the free kick. Juddy's there. Surely a whistle will come. It does.
It's Dean Laidley football, isn't it? And for that matter, John Worsfold football as well. They both loved it tight and tough like this.
4 years together as teammates at the West Coast Eagles, but now going eye to eye.
Well done.
As coaches, Chick couldn't get a clearance. Sliding over the football. The Kangaroos have balled it up. King went off the ground, only as far as Hum. Little chip kick, misses the mark. Here's Sinclair, the hand pass, errant. Boundary throw-in will take place, but the pressure enormous for the West Coast Eagles defence. They lead by 3 points the home side, but they are being made to earn these 4 points if they do get them this afternoon.
Again, a lot of space goal side. They've been good in the clearances, the Kangas.
Rocker and Jakovic. Braun thumps it out of defensive 50. Into the middle of the ground, a big ball to be won. Archer gathers, is wrapped up by Haynes, got the hands free, released it to Baird. He can go across the ground to Makepeace. He's got Rawlings further afield, who'll go longer. Grant running hard, has slipped away from Fletcher. Gathers inside the line, steps inside him, Shannon Grant, runs to 70, goes to the pocket looking for Harris. We're a punter all over the top of him, did well. Ball still alive, it's still there. Glass puts the head down, tries to charge through, and it's out of bounds.
And wasn't Archer wonderful? Just a fantastic ball that he won on the half-back line, got the handball across to Baird.
What a game. Two sides have committed themselves from the opening whistle. Horrendous conditions. It's been a cracker. It's not over yet. Grant to Jones, sprays it out on the full.
I think he'd go long down the line, Wirapunda, not try and create something from this far back in defence.
5.5 minutes remaining. Thumps it long. Brown, Grant, Judd in there as well, fighting Kerr for the ball. Brown wrapped up. No space to be had at all. The pressure unbelievable. Harvey might have caught one in the back. Hunter's gang tackled. Ball up. Umpire's letting it run. It's good umpiring. It's wide open at the other end of the ground. As you can see, Embley and Watt, 85 metres from West Coast goal, and they're the closest players to it. Glass a backhander. Hunter to Kerr to Judd. Goes towards that Embley-Watt contest at the back. Chance for West Coast. Chick. It's wide open as we've mentioned. Archer tried to get back onto it. Chick toe pokes it. It's the charge of the Light Brigade. Wooden dives on it. Chick again. Wells hunting him down. Banfield gets it to Embley. It's play on. Tries to get away from Watt. He's tackled. Wells in there again. It's still alive for Wooden. Brown tackles him. Sinclair takes it to the line. It is desperate stuff. 4.5 minutes remaining. 3 points the margin. 36,641 fans at Subiaco in full voice. Huge stoppage this one. A throw in. Gardner and Brown. Stevens. Rawlings there. Kerr gathers, twists and turns, finds space where there was none. Jones got him holding the ball.
Gee, I thought the ball just came out of the tackle. Fair enough. I thought it should have been play on.
Baird gets the free kick. Jones laid the tackle, but Baird will take it. We'll go to Jones now. Jones dropped it. Has a little bit of time. Chick looks to corral him. Jones goes to the wing. Two West Coast players. Hunter and Glass spoil themselves. Motlop, Petrie went looking for Harvey. Braun worked him off it. Stevens puts his head over the ball. Slaps it towards Hunter. Sinclair gets boot to it. And it's going out of bounds. Out of bounds on the full. West Coast to set up through Josh Wooden. Here's the holding the ball call on Kerr. Time to get rid of it. Umpire said he didn't dispose of it legally. Wooden to half forward. Baird got a hand to it. At ground level, it comes out to Stevens. Play on the call off the side of his boot. Went to Harvey. The Roos are a chance. Rocker takes the mark, 65 from goal. Wide open forward line. Sav Rocker loads up with the tall. Harris will drop into the gap. Couldn't quite get there. Wirrapunda will chase it back. Gets boot on ball and puts it out on the full. Enormous pressure. David King, will he play on? His mind's ticking over at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Looking for the right option. They won't get too many chances, you wouldn't think, in the last 3 and a bit minutes. They need to make it count. He'll go short. And Rocker's got it. 40 metres out. Very, very tight angle.
His kicking action has been pretty tidy all day, though, hasn't it?
And David King backing him in. He's gone to him, pointed to the goals and said, this is your moment.
And that's good play. That's what you need. Even though Sav's an experienced player, sometimes just a little word of wisdom in the ear is all it takes.
Severio Rocker has 4. He's kicked 623 goals in a fantastic career. He's 20th on the all-time goals kicking list in the AFL. Few more important than this one. From 45 out, doesn't make good contact. It's across the face. Harvey tries to keep it alive and it's out.
2.5 minutes remaining. Sav Rocker.
Still got a roll because he'll do the boundary throw-in work, Mark.
He's kicked 4 goals this afternoon. He's been very effective in this type of situation. Rocker wrestles with Jakovic. Sav puts it out of bounds in the full. Just over 2 minutes remaining. The Eagles clinging to a 3-point lead. A draw the last time they played here at Subiaco against the Western Bulldogs. Entirely different conditions here today, but no less important. Braun, the kick in. Kerr, Stevens, neither can take it. Umpire letting it all go. Surely no one can get hold of that football. It is jammed amidst the mud, the jumpers, the bodies. Dean Laidley, hasn't he done it tough at his first season as a senior coach? Presiding over such a committed Kangaroos lineup. From the restart, Motlop flew over the top. Grant couldn't get free. Sampi, an important kick to the wing. Gardner and Brown. Chick is there. Important little tap to Gardner. Over a boundary throw-in. Not much the coaches can do now. It's up to the players. 1:55 on the clock. Again, Rocker comes from the side. Over the ball is Hunter. He's surrounded. Pack develops. This will suit the Eagles. Baird can't break free. Judd, important little kick. Makes about 35 metres to Embley. Watt wraps him up. It spills free and over for a throw-in.
Good play by Embley. Just was in control of that contest. The ball was in front of him at all times and going towards the boundary. And he maintained his strength in that contest as well.
A goal here by the Eagles, and it would be very difficult to see the Kangaroos winning. A 3-point lead. West Coast in front. Brown makes about 15 metres. Kerr, well, he keeps it in to Gardner, to Judd. Kick partially smothered. In fact, no, it was off the side of the boot. And Rawlings told to get it going. 1:20 remaining to the wing. Motlop surrounded, got up very high. A mark was required. Jones is there. The Eagles in numbers to Wooden. Off the side of the boot, danger time. Mark taken by Jones. Just a minute or so remaining. He has to get it on. He does it now. Inside the centre square. Sinclair at the front, at the side. No mark taken. Wooden, the Eagles sensing danger. Kick it long towards Embley at the front. The spoil came from behind. Loose ball. Sampi, a hero a couple of weeks ago against the Western Bulldogs. And he does the job this afternoon. Ashley Sampi, you superstar. What a piece of football by Ashley Sampi. He kicked a goal 3 weeks back to draw a game, and he's just wrapped it up, perhaps perhaps, for the West Coast Eagles.
And the skill level at ground level from his point of view, incredible. Has hit that ball at pace, picked it off the deck, one hand mind you, and kicked a left footer, his non-preferred 45.
Well, Ashley Sampi kicked a goal to draw a game 3 weeks ago. He may have just kicked one to win it. Never right off the Roos. 9 points the margin. They need a clean takeaway here. 36 seconds remaining. One of the games of the year. What a contest it's been. 2 committed lineups, going at it from the opening bounce. This game's had pretty much everything. Deserved a grandstand finish and got it. Makepeace pushes it forward. Braun, an important take. Got it to Cousins. To half forward, Gardner's pushed forward and takes the mark. 10 seconds remaining.
He knows the time. The bench has shouted out to him.
And he'll hold it up. Siren. 36,641 fans on their feet. The West Coast Eagles improved their record to 9 wins, 3 losses and a draw in season 2003. What a great game of football. Hope you've enjoyed it wherever you might be watching. The 2 teams did not let the conditions get the best of them. Not in this man, Daniel Chick. He's downstairs with Michael Thompson.
What a courageous effort. Daniel Chick, a magnificent win.
Yeah, they don't get much better than that. We don't get this weather that often over here, and it's good to see that we can win in these conditions.
Well, tell us about yourself. I mean, I saw you nursing your shoulder through that second half. How much pain were you in?
Just part and parcel with footy. It's been there all year, and I just tweaked it a bit. So.
And did you think of coming off? I saw you telling them you wanted to go back on, but clearly you're in some trouble there.
Yeah, well, it's hurting, but there's not much. I couldn't get a jab out here in the dugout, so I just keep playing on. So not much I can do.
And the players obviously like giving the fans something a big thrill in these home games. A tie and now a superb win.
Yeah, it's been a trait of ours. Even though every week we've been challenged, and we've been able to finish off, and I think that's a sign of we're coming together as a pretty good team.
Congratulations on your effort.
All right, thank you.
Dean Laidley furious, and that gobful he's giving is directed straight at the umpires. If we think back to 3/4 time, when John Baird had a shot for goal from 50 metres out, there were 10 seconds on the clock. There was some confusion between Scott McLaren and Derek Humphrey-Smith. The 10 seconds got lost in that confusion. The Kangaroos missed their chance, but in the end, nothing could take away from the West Coast Eagles. And that gutsy final term, a brilliant game of football. In the end, the Eagles home by 9 points. It was the Roos by 5 at the opening change, West Coast by 9 at half-time, out to 14 at 3/4 time, and in the end, West Coast 11-10-76, triumph over the Kangaroos, 10-7-67, a cracker at Subi.